So here we'll talk about the accessibility in the Data Explorer, which has this option or feature as is born through a request from ABS, and the aim is to allow to the access to the website to people with disabilities, and we put this in place, some guidelines, and the guidelines of the Web Content Accessibility 2.1, and we reach the level AA, and to put it in place in the Data Explorer, we focused on the screen reader's accessibility, and also the usage of the keyboard, which is really important for all functionalities. We also made some enhancements from the first version of the Data Explorer on the color contrast, and here at this level we are mostly on a lot of components reach the level AAA of the WCAG. And also we put in place some alternative features dedicated for the accessibility, because the default ones were too limited to answer to this accessibility feature. So the demo I will show you where you can find the detail, and I will try to compare the enable and disable accessibility support mode. So in the 3 page of the DE, so in the home page, the search page, and in the visualization page, I will take also the opportunity to show you one of the recent release feature, which is the chart download in a PNG format. So let's start. So here we are on the GitLab documentation, where you can find a lot of information, and specifically one about how to use the .stat Data Explorer. And here you can find the design principle and functional vision mentioned by Jens. And also in the general layout and the common features, you will have table content where you will be able to find the web content about the accessibility support. So here we are, and so you can see that in this page you have the information I just talked about, and you have some screenshot of what I will expose you just after. So in the Data Explorer, we have a default mode and the possibility to change the mode to the accessibility support. Here we are on the default mode, so you can't really use, it's not so easy to use your keyboard in this mode. The best is to use your mouse. So here I clicked on the search bar, and after a general command, I click on the topic to see what is proposed. But finally, I would like to type tourism. So I just show you how you can play with it. And now I will switch the default mode to the accessibility mode. Just for your information, in the previous slide shown by Jens, the icon was really smaller, which is for the next release, but in the demos we still have this big icon. So when we switch to the accessibility mode, we have the orange square to see where we are with our keyboard. So, like for the default mode, you can, of course, type what you want to search for, and you can navigate. So, for your information, I do not use at all my mouse, which is on the top of the screen, on the screen, but I'm only using the keyboard to make my research. So here I will select the Austria as country. The second page, Data Explorer, which is the result page, with on the left hand side the filters, as mentioned by Jens. And as I'm not fully happy with the result page with my keyboard, I'm going back to the search bar to type employment and to have another result. So the aim was also to show you more information of the Data Explorer. So here you see that I type employment and it highlights in the result page where we can find employment on some data flows. So there were 9 results, and in this first data flow, we can see that employment has been found in some dimensions, the stocks, transactions of other flows or expenditure for unemployment, and also on some attributes. So now I'm also showing you that that it's possible to have more information on the data flow with down arrow, and it shows you that you can look for, you can find some other information. For now, we have only the source where the data flow is coming from, a date, and also the SDMX ID of the data flow. So the triplet ID with agency, the ID of the data flow, and its version. So the quarterly financial account was not exactly the data flow I wanted to show you. I wanted to look for the enterprises and employment in tourism. And just to show you the table. So here, this is a default table because I just I will stop. I switch the mode to show you that the default table the default table is different than the accessibility, the one for person with disabilities. But visually, it's not so easy to find the difference. The only difference is that you can play with the keyboard for the disabled persons. So here I'm playing with my mouse, and so this in this default table you can't at all play with your keyboard. So if you are fanatic of keyboard, you have to switch to the accessibility support mode. So I wanted also to show you that in this mode we are using also, you have the possibility to use a screen reader. Can you still hear me? Because I put away my micro,
yes,
micro, and I will try to put a bit up the sound to see if you profit of the screen readers when it will start. Can you hear it or not? Because if not, I will put down the volume of my computer. Did you hear it?
If you play this Please play and then we'll listen.
Alors, I will, yeah, okay, so we will see. Okay, so here. Did you hear it?
No, son, no.
Okay. Okay, so that's a pity, but it doesn't matter. I will continue without it. So it's the issue of this part, doesn't matter. I will put back my headphone in this case. Okay, so the aim was to show you what people with disabilities can hear when they are using a screen reader. So it doesn't matter, we will continue without it. So he's explaining at which level the user is, saying reference area, saying GERMANY, everything that the user is typing and doing. So here the user added another reference area, Germany, and we can see the results. We will also remove this country just to show you that with the keyboard we can play and do everything without using a mouse. But we have to do a lot of action to arrive to a certain position. So to go back to the table area, while we were on the filters, we have to go down on all on all the list of the filters to be able to arrive to the toolbar of the table or chart part. So here it was just for you to listen the screen readers to listen what he's saying each time he's going on different features. So here we arrive on the customized features. You will see it's completely different than the default customized action box of for the table. So here we use the drag and drop feature and with your mouse. So we are on the default mode, and just by clicking the dimension you want to move on another area, such as columns or row section or activity. We click on the dimension and we move where we want to see it. So now, on the accessibility mode, the customized action box is quite different because we use another DLL. And you see that the columns, the row section and rows are aligned to his usage of the keyboard, and because also the library use is also made like this. So when you want to select an element, you have to press the space bar, and like this, the element you selected in one of the area sorry, it's going too fast. The area has been dashed to show you where you are and where you want to move the dimension. So here he moves the dimension unit of measure, which was on the row section, but not the dimension, but the attribute unit of measure, which was on the row sections, to the rows and on the bottom part of the rows. So here we see the table view, how it looks like, and if we want to apply or cancel the layout. So here we will apply the layout, and the result will be that the unit of measure has been moved to the row section, sorry. So now the aim was also to show you that with the screen reader, the screen reader is reading all the elements. So he should start saying enterprises and employment in tourism. And after he's saying reference area, Australia, frequency of observation annual. Each time you move your keyboard, is telling where you are. But in the table, I wanted you to hear, it's quite tricky because you have to know exactly, you have to be used to use such table. But for this, I would like if some of you is really interested on this feature to have your feedback and if it's easy for person with disabilities to use this table. We did not have any really feedback about it from ABS, so it could be great that if there's feedback to give about that, it could be useful. Okay, so here, oops, this one. Voilà. So here also when he's telling us the figures, in fact, it doesn't say the figure itself. He's telling a time period 2015 for activity, tourism industries, for measure enterprises, and the unit of measure number. And after he's telling the word, the number. And just before also in the previous cell, in the cell with the B, he is also saying the content of the flag, which I think is really important because a number with the flag which can't be read by a person, it's a pity because this gives a lot of information. So now we will go to the chart part, just for you to show you how we can do a chart. So you have to do a chart. I reduce the selection of the table, the reducer table, to have a chart which is visible and easy to read. So I will select a chart bar. And here I will show you also the customized feature of the chart bar, which is a bit different than the previous versions. We put this feature on the top, while before it was down the chart. And here I'm doing some, I'm highlighting some bars with colors. There's no meaning, there's no statistical meaning on what I'm doing, but just for you to have a look on what can be done. I selected the baseline, and here I will reduce the chart to show you that this is also possible. And now it was one of the recent release features. It's now possible to download this chart on PNG format. We can also share this chart with the share features, which I will not demo today. But I can show you later if we have time and if there is any interest on it. And on the share feature, you can embed also the chart, and it can be live if you select the appropriate option. But here also you notice that on my chart, the title was not so clear and was a bit too much information. So there is also the possibility to modify the title. But for this, we put in place the possibility to do it, but only for people who are who are internal to your organization and have the appropriate credentials. So to modify the title, it's also on the customize box. And you see now we have 2 levels in the customize box, the one I showed you before, and also the information part, where you can change either the title, the subtitle, the source label. And you can also remove the logo and remove the copyright. So here, as my graph is about enterprises, I will remove enterprises and I will specify that data are for Austria. And I don't need anymore the subtitle, so I will remove the subtitle. Here I use a reset arrow, which allow me also, if I change my mind, to go back to the original text. But finally, I remove it. So, and the source label, I leave it. The data are coming from the enterprise and employment in tourism data flow. So I leave it like this. And we notice also that the unit of measure, the dimension, is stay visible. That's it for the accessibility.